nuke bomb, cluster bomb, and whatnot? Oh yeah, you are really training the devils to copy and be ready to use these evil killers on you and yours soon. Here and or in eternal hell.
We pray for Ukraine or Ureign.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
But if you went to the Finnish-Russian border, you'd see this. Lines of cars filled with people leaving Russia to avoid the draft.
I won't go under any circumstances. If I have to, I'll go to jail. This shouldn't have happened. It's a crime what the government is doing.
The world wants peace. Protests against Russia's unjust war in Ukraine or Ureign, part 4 of a multi-part series. Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan leader sent by heaven.
Beloved viewers, to express your appreciation to your helpful friends from the Autonomous Republic of Adjara in Georgia, you can say, Didi Medloba. That's thank you very much in Georgian, the official language of the region. I'm Nino. The intelligent Adjarian citizens are keen to join your expanding vegan circle and pray that your inner light continues to brighten our world. Welcome to our program. The World Wants Peace, Protests Against Russia's Unjust War in Ukraine, Ureign, Part 4 of a multi-part series. Ureign is an auspicious name for Ukraine used by Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, that channels heavenly blessing and empowerment to the country, especially in its ongoing fight against the Russian invasion. In our series of shows on protests against the war, we'll use this name for the brave nation.
I've been thinking that maybe we should change the name of Ukraine to a different name.
What name, Master?
Like Ureign, for example. Ureign, like you. You don't have sovereignty.
Yes. Wow. Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Also, this is the universal master power, just like initiation. It's not the names that you repeat or the mantra. It is the master who charges, the master power that charges with power to uplift people, enlighten people, and, liberate people.
Yes.
Ureign's prolonged war with Russia is causing physical and psychosocial fatigue and financial hardship for the Ukrainians and for all the concerned people in the world. However, for as long as the war lasts, we can't allow it to become accepted as a part of everyday life. We must continue to show our solidarity, protest against the injustice, and speak for those suffering until the war ends with Ureign's victory. The devastating effects since Russia launched a brutal, full-scale invasion of Ureign on February 24th, 2022, have exposed innocent children to violence, injury, destruction, separation, and loss of family members. No child should ever have to endure such agonizing and unbearable experiences. Consequences of war leave a trail of deep grief, pain, anger, and other traumatic emotions, which consequently lead to anxiety and depression, significantly hindering child development. Many harrowing images from Russia's assault and war crimes have emerged, including the death of hundreds of vulnerable children caught up in the chaos. On April 10, 2022, in the village of Buzova, near the capital Kiev, a grieving mother's heartbreaking cries echo after the discovery of her son's body under fallen rubble caused by Russian artillery and missile strikes. In July 2022, a video of a Ukrainian mother and daughter was posted onto Instagram just moments before a Russian missile severely injured her and killed 4-year-old Liza Dmitrieva. Footage of 2 ex-Russian commanders admitting to killing innocent Ukrainian children as young as 5 years old is only the tip of the iceberg on the scale of atrocities committed by the Russian army. As of April 2, 2023, the United Nations reported over 500 Ukrainian children died because of Russian forces' brutality and use of explosive weaponry since the war started, while leaving many hundreds more injured. The actual numbers, however, are feared to be significantly higher. In the first 100 days since Russia's invasion, over 5 million children within Ureign and refugee-hosting countries needed humanitarian assistance to clean water, food, shelter, and healthcare. The grim assessment reported by the United Nations highlighted the displacement and poverty crisis of children as one of the largest ever since World War II. The accounts of children suffering get grimmer the deeper you go into Russian-occupied areas, now liberated by Ukrainian soldiers. Evidence gathered by international and Ukrainian authorities indicate horrific stories of sexual abuse by Russian soldiers against children. In late November 2022, Ukraine's First Lady, Her Excellency Olena Zelenska, condemned Putin and his forces for its deliberate use of sexual violence as a weapon of war during her address to the UK Parliament, and implored the British government to rally the global community behind Ureign.
I urge you, Britain, I urge you, members of Parliament, to help us unite the global community as much as possible, as it once was united in 1942. Unite the world in support of a special tribunal for Russian crimes against Ukraine. Today I'm asking you to become a world leader of justice. Nothing more, nothing less.
In December 2022, chilling reports and video of child abductions also surfaced in a targeted ploy by Russian forces to brainwash and re-educate Ukrainian children to fight against their homeland. According to the Ukrainian government, it estimates over 19,000 children had been captured, forcibly put into camps in occupied Russian regions, then deported to Russia since the start of the war, though officials believe the actual numbers are much higher.
Они говорили, что мы вас здесь кормим, поем, даем воду, тепло, уют.
When Russia paraded a group of Ukrainian children on a Moscow stage with a soldier, claiming that they were saved from Ukraine, it caused outrage here. Ukraine has been telling the world that its children were effectively being kidnapped by Russia to turn them against their mother country. The ICC appears to agree.
On March 17, 2023, the International Criminal Court, ICC, announced it had found Vladimir Putin guilty of human rights violations for his involvement in the deportation of Ukrainian children and other heinous war crimes.
Deportation of children from Ukrainian occupied territories into the Russian Federation.
Vegan, for a bright future for our world.
Compassionate viewers, let's pause for a moment now to hear a brief message. We'll return shortly. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television.
Justice pour les animaux, ni dans les frigos, ni sous les couteaux. Justice.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Lesotho is one of them. Lesotho, the Cruelty to Animals Act No. 3 of 1875. Lesotho was an early country to instate an animal people cruelty law in 1875. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more hurting. No more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan. Make peace. So be it.
Russia, go home.
Welcome back to our program. Despite the Kremlin's best efforts to portray the invasion as a special military operation, thousands of civilians, both young and old, have marched for peace in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and other major cities across Russia. It is estimated that close to 2,000 people were arrested on the first day of the invasion. Public outcry continues to deepen as horrific and brutal images of the war are broadcast daily on social media and news channels. The Russian human rights group OVD Info estimates more than 14,000 people were arrested and detained during the first 2 weeks of the war, while people with blank signs are also being targeted and charged with opposing the war. The crackdown, however, has only led to larger-scale demonstrations as horrific images of young Ukrainian children killed, wounded, and deeply traumatized surface on popular social media platforms like Telegram, which is used by over 40% of Russia's internet users. Given growing public sentiment and sympathy for Ureign, the Russian government passed new censorship laws making it a crime to refer to the military operation as a war to control the media narrative. Despite criminal prosecution of up to 15 years, several radio stations defied orders and insisted on calling out the unjust invasion as a war, only to be swiftly taken off air, including Russia's leading media outlet, Echo of Moscow. While international news organizations suspended operations given the threat to freedom of speech in the country, local Russian TV station Dost, TV Rain, and its staff bravely walked off live on air in protest of the government's propaganda and the war. They are not the only journalists to quit. NTV channel news anchor Lilia Gildeva, who worked for Russian state TV since 2006, resigned from her job and left the country rather than propagate fake news to her fellow citizens. On March 16, 2022, Marina Ovsyannikova, news editor of the state-owned Channel 1 Russia television channel, took courageous action when she criticized Vladimir Putin's war crimes during a live news broadcast. The incident went viral on local media, which was her intention, to denounce the war whilst also sending a direct message to Russians on the lies and disinformation provided by state TV. Upon learning the inspiring act of Ms. Ovsyannikova, Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, expressed her admiration.
Oh,
Yes.
I applaud her.
Yeah.
Yes.
May God protect you.
May she be protected. That's true, Master.
By God, by heaven.
Yes, we pray so too.
Such a woman is worth more than the 100,000 soldiers going fighting blindly.
Yes.
She's more than a general. She's more than a hero.
Yes.
She went against the whole system of this secret service and communism controlling and dictatorship and all that.
Yes,
Master.
For which people would have been poisoned or killed or imprisoned forever.
Yes.
She knew all that and she still did it. It's so wonderful. It's heaven-inspired.
Russian journalists Igor Polikov and Alexandra Marishnikova made similar news headlines in the country when they published more than 30 articles on a pro-Kremlin website criticizing Putin's invasion as one of the bloodiest wars of the 21st century and labeling him a paranoid dictator who cannot be trusted. To encourage peace and an end to this senseless war, the duo signed off each article with a call to action. Don't be afraid. Don't be quiet. Resist. You are not one, you are many. The future is yours. Peace to Ukraine. During a pro-war rally in Moscow, while addressing the nation on the invasion, Putin was left embarrassed live on air as Russian state TV channel Russia 24 abruptly cut away from his speech and switched to a musical performance in yet another show of public dissent and disapproval of the war. In response to mounting public anger, along with heavy losses during the conflict, Putin's attempts to garner support by meeting with mothers of servicemen horribly backfired. The Council of Mothers and Wives, an organization formed during the war, publicly criticized him for staging the meeting with hand-picked women with government connections, while their own requests to meet were repeatedly denied. Putin's faltering invasion of Ureign escalated further on September 21, 2022, after he announced a partial mobilization of up to 300,000 military reservists. The decision sparked nationwide protests, despite the government's harsh laws, as thousands of people voiced dissent to the ongoing conflict. Over 13,000 people have been detained across Russia, while thousands of male citizens eligible for call-up defied orders and fled the country.
Making a touchdown in Istanbul just a day after Russia announced a military draft. Many Russian men are jumping on whatever flights they can find out of Moscow.
The mobilization is one of the reasons why I'm here. I feel that not really lots of Russian people want to fight and want to be mobilized and want to go to the army. So that's it.
War is horrible, so it's okay to be afraid of war and of death and of such things. So it's hard for everyone. It's a difficult situation.
But if you went to the Finnish-Russian border, you'd see this. Lines of cars filled with people leaving Russia to avoid the draft. This was the line of cars backed up at a border crossing between Russia and Kazakhstan today, one of the handful of countries where a fleeing Russian would not need a visa.
I won't go, under any circumstances. If I have to, I'll go to jail. This shouldn't have happened. It's a crime what the government is doing.
How do we turn the destructive atmosphere of war into one of benevolence and peace? Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan offered wise advice during an interview with James Bean of Spiritual Awakening Radio.
If everyone or the vast majority now turn at least back to benevolent lifestyle, then the war-like atmosphere, war energies will die down, and peace will be emerging like a miracle. But everybody who knows meditation should intensify their effort with the goal to create peace on this planet and a vegan diet, a vegan planet. Vegan planet is a peaceful planet. See?
Yeah.
One thing leads to another, yes.
Yes.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more hurting. No more murdering them to eat. to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan, make peace, so be it.
In our next episode, we'll expose the despicable torture and mistreatment of the Ukrainian civilians by some of the Russian invaders, and feature more protests by the Russian people, including dignitaries and officials.
If we want to dispel or stave off disasters, we must abstain from killing to avoid creating bad karma. That's why eating vegetarian helps us sow blessings. The Venerable Dharma Master Chang Yan, vegan.
Faithful viewers, thank you for your company today during The World Wants Peace, Protests Against Russia's Unjust War in Ukraine, or Ureign, Part 4 of a multi-part series. Please return on Thursday, August 31st for Part 5. Up next is Dr. Alex Lockwood, vegan, author, academic, and activist for the animal people, Part 2 of 2. May your days be filled with gratitude for the precious opportunity to know heaven's glory.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Russia, leave Ukraine or Ureign now. Peace be with you too.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/show.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/show.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/show。
我们的节目提供多种语言，请看 suprememastertv.com/schedule 和 suprememastertv.com/show。